I want to join in with all the, as I help run the peace vigil at the White House and all the great activists that protested at the White House Day that got arrested, for peace. So this is a day that will live in infamy. This story is so giant. This escalation has gone to new epic proportions. The hospital in Gaza, hundreds, many hundreds killed, probably thousands. The hospital. Now, who did it? I don't know. But, it's like I've always said. You know me, I'm a pretty intense radical activist. I don't believe in violence. And the reason I don't believe in violence, because violence creates more violence. 40 years ago today, I was just thinking my cousin was killed tragically, 24 years old, in a hunting accident. I remember that day like yesterday. It was so heartbreaking. What a day, October 17th. This day will live in infamy. This event is gigantic. This nightmare is escalating to really historical proportions. It's going to affect us all. It's going to affect us all. I don't know how you calm this down and stop it at this point. So what can we do, Pray, yeah. And so I want to be I think you're going to see lots of stuff break out all over the world now. Violence just breeds more violence. I was a little boy. I was 8 years old. I was right here. Right there. I was 8 years old on a field trip. I won a cake that day. And me and my twin sister walked right over here. And my uncle was here. My uncle Al, the famous Al Hunsaker, with Mariner Eccles. '68 March. Kevin, come here. What are you doing? We're here on a field trip. My teacher, the teacher's right there. She says, so you want to talk to the teacher? And he says, I want you to meet the next president of the United States. He's here. He's going to be here in just a little bit. Come sit with me. My twin sister wasn't feeling well, so she went home. I'll take you home. Bobby Kennedy. I gotta shake his hand. Over there at the old promontory towers. Right here, right here, right here. So profoundly moved me because it was just a couple days later that Martin Luther King was killed. And Bobby Kennedy gave that incredible, incredible speech. I'll never forget it. I was 8 years old. That speech profoundly affected me. In Indianapolis, violence perpetuates violence. That's all it does. My activism career been pretty intense and pretty fucking radical. And I've done a lot of radical fucking stuff, boy. But I'm not violent. I'm pretty intense. Million Mouse March was pretty fucking radical intense. Some of the stuff I've done, some of myself, but I don't believe in violence. I remember that night after I gave the speech, stayed up with my mom to watch the California returns. Got later. I fell asleep on the couch, of course. My mom put me to bed. Get up in the morning, go in the kitchen. There's my mom and her beautiful freaking those cotton dresses they wore and her beautiful. She was something else with her Bakelite radio, Lynn Allen on. My mom was just crying. I'm like, oh, what happened? What happened? Hear it on the radio. Bobby Kennedy was killed last night. I was 8. My dad started having seizures later that freaking month and ended up in the vet's hospital. I got to see him on every Tuesday for for years. Then nuked him in a bad test site. This is a historic day. This is an incredible historic event. What happened on the 7th? Oh my God, what a nightmare. Well, what's been going on there for years, but what's going on here? I mean, this whole... Got practice go today.
It was cool. It was good. You said a new position?
What, they did move you running back now?
Yeah, I was 27.
I know who you are. God, you look good. Well, hang in there, man. So, football team. Day that will live in infamy. I don't know who did it, but we're going to find out. This event could change everything? Yeah. Who the fuck bombs a fucking hospital? Oh. Obama did it. Twice. My uncle's a pretty famous doctor, and so I come from a famous line of doctors. Remember Doctors Without Borders? Remember the peace activist Obama? He bombed him twice. Not once, but twice. What the United States did in retaliation for the tragedy at 9/11, there were Saudis that did it. Right there where I walk out of the library that day, I was here. I was teaching the school business. The FBI was in there. They were handing out flyers. There were these phones up there, upstairs. You can go ask Chris. You don't believe me. She's the one that turned them in. If you see this guy, you call. She called. They arrested him right there in there. The reaction that we had to that tragedy called 9/11, which really, if the NSA agencies have been speaking to each other, shouldn't have never happened. They should have caught him. I got lots of stories about that. I was teaching here at the School of Business. I taught the derivative arbitrage class. They bought puts on the airlines, didn't they? I'll never forget this day. I will never forget this fucking day. The reaction becomes worse than the action. Then the reaction to the reaction becomes worse than the reaction to the action. Then the reaction to the reaction to the reaction becomes worse than the reaction. Then the reaction to the reaction to the action. It's like a watermill. And the stream gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it keeps on flowing. It doesn't stop. This is a major, major cultural event. Worldwide. The implications are so fucking big. so many comparisons can be drawn what's going on with 9/11. For sure. Look what you go back to 9/11 and everything that's unfolded economically, socially, philosophically, military. Oh, my fucking God. Thank you to the protesters in D.C. at the White House. They're all in jail right now. I mean, of all faiths. These protesting groups of faith, I mean, you know, I help run the peace vigil. I have forever. I've been really worried about them there. I've been really worried. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't. Do you ever recall in the history of your lifetime, and I'm 63 years old, do you ever recall a hospital being bombed? I mean, doctors out borders, but not levels. A whole hospital. This is, they're saying hundreds, but I guess it's going to be thousands. I don't. This is 9/11 stuff. How many people died that day? I used to work there, and it's right there, Lower Wall Street. Over 3,000. Look how many people suffered because of that action. How many people were killed in Iraq? How many people got killed in Afghanistan? I mean, not to mention the treasury looted. It's a historic fucking day. The violence is like water running downhill. It's like a winter runoff. It starts at a trickle. The spring gets hotter and the spring gets warmer. Water starts to build momentum. It starts to go downhill and run downhill faster and faster and stronger, and it becomes more powerful and more powerful and more powerful. That's what's happening. 23 years of this post 9/11. Where does it end? Doesn't. It doesn't. All we're going to do is pray. I'm a peace activist. Always have been a peace activist. You know that. Thank you to the activists that are sitting in jail in D.C. Obama, peace activist. Okay. Trump, a peace activist. Okay. I mean, Biden, a piece of fucking please. Fucking how violent and sickening has this country become? How violent and sickening have we become as a fucking people? Dividing up on race, dividing up on fucking religion, dividing up on sexuality, dividing up on violence breeds more violence. This is an historic fucking moment, an historic day. This day will live in fucking infamy big time. I'm here to tell you. Who did this? Doesn't matter. Everybody's gonna blame everybody. And this is gonna escalate. Oh boys, this is gonna escalate. Here, you know, there's so much passion just being fueled all over the fucking world right now. Everybody's violated. Send this to Craig and Filippo and everybody at the Peace Vigil. You just stay safe. You need to stay safe. And no flag waving. I don't care which flags or whatever. Flags need to be put away. American flags, all flags. Any flag. Enough of the fucking flag waving. Enough of the fucking. Needs to be a fucking. We need to declare. We need to declare a decade of mourning. A decade of mourning, where everybody just lays their fucking arms down, lays their violence down, lays it down, just puts their fucking head down, and fucking bows for this 23 years of violence that was all started fucking one after Afghanistan to kill the Taliban, one after Iraq to kill one after Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong, ISIS, make it rain in Ukraine. What's going on in fucking the Ukraine? Oh my god. Fuck, the imperialism has re-emerged its ugly fucking head. 23 years of this violence. Fuck, where will it end? It's gonna end in a fucking major world war that will fucking make World War I and World War II look like a fucking high school football game. I was standing with Matea Benjamin when they called the election, and I was being interviewed by French television and activism, and he said to us, we were talking to us both, well, you've got to be heartbroken. You've lost everybody. And I said, wait a minute. She might have lost everybody. I haven't. Because I understand that nuclear is the tip of the spear. And we've shut down over 30% of all nuclear reactors worldwide in 23 years. I haven't lost shit. It's not about winning and fucking losing. It's about the fight. You can tell how fucking successful Kevin Blanch has been as the activist when no media will touch me with a 10-foot pole. Violence perpetuates violence. That's all it does. That's all it does. It has never been the answer. It will never be the fucking answer. But this is as vile as it gets. This is 9/11 stuff. So this whole perpetual nightmare started on 9/11, 2001. We got 3/11 mixed in the middle of that to cover up a Fukushima. Poison there. Is the cycle ended? Oh, yeah, we wish. Red October on Valco. Red October on Chemo. October 17th. 2023. How many are dead? I just watched the explosions. How many are dead? Oh, it's going to be thousands. It's going to be thousands. I saw ABC just reported that it was over 500. It's a fucking hospital. I think the only hospital there in northern Gaza. This explosion, I saw it, I watched it, is massive. This isn't some 1994 going and strapping bombs to the bottom of pillars. This is a sophisticated operation. So, blame? Oh my God, in the name of fucking religion. In the name of religion. It's not in the name of religion. That's a fucking red herring. It's the name of imperialism. I don't even know what I'm going to tag this. How I'm going to tag this. I saw this and I don't cry. I mean, everything that I've been through and whatever, I teared up immediately. I've worked as a peace activist and fought as a peace activist since I was my father. nuclear site. I mean, all this, I mean, fighting for my life with AML leukemia, set with so many people that passed in hospitals. You know, I've pretty well been in a hospital, nothing but for 12 fucking years, open heart surgery twice, blah, blah, blah. I know what goes on in a hospital, especially in a fucking war zone like this. You got little kids in there. You got every kind of vulnerable person you could possibly think of. Red October. Cuban Missile Day, right? It's coming right up. That's 10 days from now. 7, 17, 27. This is one of those moments, like 9/11, like when Bobby, like when John was killed, like when Martin Luther King, you remember for the rest of your life where you were at. Oh, it's a big fucking historic Pearl Harbor stuff. Fukushima, March 11th stuff. 9/11 stuff. Oh, yeah. Whoa. Whoa. I honestly believe this is one of the most historic infamy moments, events, things in my lifetime. And I'm born in 1960, so I saw a lot of infamous shit. Again, I just stated them and wrote them out. What are they going to call it? I don't know. How many did it kill? I can never, ever in my life. And I remember the 72 Olympics, you know. I remember that fucking nightmare tragedy. I remember all these so-called, lived through Vietnam, watched my dad fucking suffer, you know, the Marine, 9/11, 3/11, a fucking hospital in a fucking war zone. The only hospital being blown to fucking smithereens. Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck does that? It reminds me of that day Bobby Kennedy gave that speech, April 4th, 1968. And we know the violence that fucking erupted there. That day, that night. The repercussions still go. Bobby Kennedy killed just 100 days later. Less than that. Call for peace. Good luck to you. Pray for it. The day that we'll live in infamy. They're migrating. They come to land in this pond where they've been landing their whole lives. Not this year. There is no home. They drained it off, turned it into a concrete pond. All peace activists of the world. What few of us are left. There ain't many of us. Unite. Unite. All peace activists unite. Unite. All peace activists around the world. Unite.